Welcome to Streaming News Network by Claude McDaniel. News without the hype and biased reporting. Please like and subscribe.
This is Claude McDaniel with Streaming News Network. A significant change is coming to the administration, as Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has announced she will step down from her position effective June 30th. According to a statement released by President Donald Trump, Gabbard's decision comes after her husband, Abraham Gabbard, was recently diagnosed with a rare form of bone cancer. In a personal message, Gabbard said her husband's strength and love have carried her through every challenge, and that she could not, in good conscience, continue in such a demanding role while he faces this difficult health battle alone. President Trump praised Gabbard's service, saying she had done an incredible job in the administration and would be greatly missed. He also expressed confidence that Abraham Gabbard will recover and return to good health. To ensure continuity in the nation's intelligence leadership, Principal Deputy Director of National Intelligence Aaron Lucas will assume the role of Acting Director of National Intelligence beginning July 1. Gabbard's departure marks the end of her tenure overseeing the nation's intelligence community as she shifts her focus to supporting her husband and family during a challenging time. This is Streaming News Network. Indiana Fever superstar Caitlin Clark is adding another accomplishment to her growing list of achievements, becoming a children's book author. As the Women's National Basketball Association season gets underway, Clark remains one of the sport's biggest stars and most recognizable athletes. Since being selected first overall by the Indiana Fever, the two-time All-Star has expanded her influence well beyond basketball through partnerships with major brands and endorsement deals. Now, Clark is preparing to release her first children's picture book, titled Extraordinary. A Little Extra to Reach Big Dreams, which is scheduled to arrive in stores nationwide on November 3rd. The book was written by Clark and illustrated by Adriana Predoy. Clark announced the project on social media, calling it a major milestone and sharing images of the upcoming release with fans. Designed for children ages 4 through 8, the book delivers a message that Clark says has been central to her success both on and off the court. Through a rhyming story, she encourages young readers to value love, joy, and the relationships that matter most, emphasizing that the people around us deserve our extra time and attention. The project marks the latest chapter in Clark's rapidly growing career as she continues to make an impact far beyond the basketball court. This is Streaming News Network. A Virginia restaurant employee has been fired after a couple discovered a racial slur printed on their dining receipt during what was supposed to be a celebratory anniversary dinner. The incident occurred Saturday at Crazy Crab in Fairfax, Virginia. According to the couple, they were reviewing their bill when they noticed an offensive racial term had been entered at the bottom of the receipt alongside the Spanish phrase, poquito, which translates to, a little bit. The woman, who asked not to be identified, said she was stunned by what she saw and struggled to process the situation in the moment. She and her partner said they felt angry and deeply upset by the discovery. The couple alleged that their initial complaints were not taken seriously by the server and restaurant management. However, after a photo of the receipt was shared online by a friend, the restaurant took action and terminated the employee involved. Restaurant management later stated there was no excuse for the incident. According to the manager, the employee had only recently arrived in the United States and may have entered the offensive language into the restaurant system without realizing it would appear on a customer's printed receipt. Management emphasized that such conduct was unacceptable regardless of the circumstances. The incident has sparked criticism from customers and renewed concerns about workplace professionalism and cultural sensitivity in the service industry. This is Streaming News Network. Federal authorities have announced what officials are calling one of the largest Medicaid fraud crackdowns in recent history, with 15 people indicted in Minnesota in connection with schemes allegedly involving more than $90 million in public health care funds. The Department of Justice says the defendants are accused of diverting money intended for vulnerable populations, including children with autism, individuals with disabilities, and people experiencing homelessness. During a news conference, federal officials said some of the accused allegedly billed Medicaid for services that were never provided. Prosecutors also claim that, in certain cases, parents were offered illegal kickbacks to bring children to autism treatment centers, where diagnoses were allegedly made regardless of medical necessity. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. described the case as the largest autism-related fraud investigation in American history. Officials said one victim who was supposed to receive around-the-clock care allegedly did not receive those services and was later found dead. The investigation has also sparked political debate. Medicare and Medicaid Administrator Mehmet Oz criticized Minnesota's oversight efforts, while Minnesota Governor Tim Walz responded by saying individuals who commit fraud in the state are ultimately caught and prosecuted. Minnesota officials say they have been cooperating with federal investigators for months and had already halted payments and opened investigations involving several of the individuals now facing charges. The case remains under investigation, and all defendants are presumed innocent unless proven guilty in court. This is Streaming News Network. Investigative journalist Elisa Valdez-Rodriguez says she plans to leave the United States after claiming she was targeted because of her reporting on the late financier Jeffrey Epstein and his former New Mexico property known as Zorro Ranch. In a series of online posts, Valdez-Rodriguez alleged that unidentified individuals had located her home and that she experienced what she described as possible directed energy weapon attacks while working in her home office. She said the symptoms she experienced were similar to those associated with what is commonly known as Havana syndrome. The journalist stated that she and her family immediately left their residence and are now staying in temporary safe locations while making plans to relocate overseas permanently. She also indicated she may seek public financial assistance to help cover moving expenses, pet transportation costs, and private security. Valdez-Rodriguez has published reports examining allegations connected to Epstein's New Mexico ranch, including claims involving possible criminal activity and alleged efforts to conceal information. However, there has been no independent verification of her claims that she was targeted or attacked because of her reporting. The allegations have drawn attention online, but no evidence has been publicly presented linking any individual or organization to the incidents she described. Authorities have not announced any investigation related to the claims. This is Streaming News Network. A Florida woman is facing a felony charge after authorities say a man who came to help her with a stranded vehicle was struck and killed, and she allegedly left the scene. According to investigators, 21-year-old Julia Blackwell has been charged with leaving the scene of a crash involving a death following the incident on May 16. Police say 59-year-old Ronald Baer responded to assist Blackwell after her pickup truck became stuck in mud along a highway. Witnesses told investigators that after another truck successfully pulled Blackwell's vehicle free, Baer approached to remove a tow strap attached to the vehicles. Authorities allege that Blackwell accelerated while Baer was near the front of the truck, knocking him to the ground. Witnesses further claimed that the vehicle then reversed over him before Blackwell drove away from the scene. According to investigators, a passenger in the vehicle reportedly shouted that Baer had been killed. Police say Blackwell and her passenger then left in another pickup truck. During a later interview with law enforcement, Blackwell reportedly said she believed her truck was still stuck and heard a loud impact before realizing someone was in front of the vehicle. She told investigators she then shifted into reverse and heard Baer yelling. The case remains under investigation. Blackwell is presumed innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law. This is Streaming News Network. A major federal Medicare fraud case has ended with a conviction, capping an investigation that exposed what prosecutors described as a sophisticated scheme involving healthcare technology, telemedicine services, and massive losses to taxpayers. According to federal authorities, the case centered on a network that allegedly used digital healthcare platforms and telemedicine arrangements to facilitate fraudulent billing practices. Investigators say the operation generated hundreds of millions of dollars in improper Medicare claims before it was ultimately uncovered. The conviction is being viewed as a significant victory for federal prosecutors and healthcare fraud investigators, who have increasingly focused on the rapid growth of telemedicine and other digital healthcare services in recent years. During the trial, prosecutors outlined how the alleged scheme operated through interconnected healthcare businesses and technology systems, allowing fraudulent claims to be submitted on a large scale while avoiding detection for an extended period. The case has renewed concerns about vulnerabilities within government healthcare programs and raised questions about whether existing oversight mechanisms are keeping pace with the expansion of digital medicine. Federal agencies say they are stepping up efforts to identify similar schemes and strengthen safeguards designed to protect taxpayer-funded healthcare programs from fraud and abuse. This is Streaming News Network. Investigators in both Italy and the Maldives are working to determine what led to a devastating scuba diving tragedy that claimed the lives of 5 Italian divers and a Maldivian rescue official in the Vavu Atoll last week. Among those killed were marine biology professor Monica Montefalcone, her daughter Giorgia Somical, along with Muriel Adanino, Gianluca Benedetti, and Federico Galtieri. Rescue team member Mohammed Mahoudhi also lost his life during recovery operations. Authorities say the divers were found inside a cave approximately 97 feet below the surface, with several victims discovered in an underwater area known as a shark cave. The incident is believed to be the deadliest single scuba diving accident in Maldivian history. Italian prosecutors have now opened a culpable homicide investigation as officials seek to determine whether safety procedures were properly followed. At the same time, Maldivian authorities have launched their own inquiry, focusing on whether organizers took appropriate precautions before the expedition began. Officials are also reviewing reports that the dive permit allowed descents to depths of 164 feet, significantly deeper than standard limits. Investigators are examining additional questions about the expedition, including whether all participants were properly listed on permit documents and whether the planned cave exploration had been fully disclosed. Autopsies are expected once the victims' bodies are returned to Italy, and individuals connected to the expedition are expected to be interviewed as investigators work to determine exactly what happened. New reports are fueling speculation about the upcoming wedding of pop superstar Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, with claims that the couple is taking extraordinary measures to keep details of the ceremony private. According to entertainment insiders, Swift and Kelce are planning what has been described as a large-scale wedding celebration but are reportedly limiting who receives information about the event in an effort to prevent details from becoming public. One report claims that Kelce's father, Ed Kelce, is being kept out of certain planning discussions because of concerns that private information could unintentionally be shared. The reports characterize Ed Kelce as outspoken and note that he has previously discussed personal details about the couple's relationship in public interviews. Last year, Ed Kelce spoke about the couple's engagement, describing how his son allegedly proposed during a private moment at home before the couple shared the news with family members through video calls. Neither Swift nor Kelce has publicly commented on the latest reports, and many of the details surrounding the wedding remain unconfirmed. As a result, much of the information currently circulating should be considered speculation until verified by the couple or their representatives. With intense public interest surrounding one of entertainment and sports' most high-profile couples, privacy is expected to remain a top priority as their wedding day approaches. This has been a report by Claude McDaniel of Streaming News Network.
Thank you for listening to Streaming News Network videos and shorts. Please like and subscribe to our news channel.